And also with time, I got to, and I remember I met this guy, and he, like as a joke, he just told me, when I'm away, you need to learn how to please yourself.
Wow.
Yes. As in, learn how to please yourself, because even as a woman, it doesn't look good when you're sleeping around with so many
true.
men. And also, it gets to a particular age, it just doesn't make sense. Because what exactly are you looking for out there? Hi everyone, welcome to a new episode of the Crib Shit. And today we want to talk about sex and relationship as a single parent. So, here today, I have one special lady. I had to say she's special because she's actually walked the journey with me when it comes to my personal, how would I say? My personal intimate journey. And why she's the best person. So, Hilda, I've known you for close to 1.5 years.
Yes.
And I can say it's an amazing journey because we have a lot to talk whenever I go to see her. And you get to understand what she does for me. So I'll let her introduce herself.
Thank you so much, Sheila. My name is Hilda Osike. I am the founder of the Waxing Parlour on Gong Road and the newly opened Waxing Rongai in Rongai. So I'm an entrepreneur. I deal with skin. I deal with waxing, anything to do with skin treatments. So, of course, I deal with the intimates. And we get to talk about a lot with not just you, but all the women. You know, people share a lot. Their sex life, our sex life, you know. Yeah. So basically that is what I do. And through the years, I've been doing this for 2.5 years now. And through the years, I can say I have learned a lot. And it has also pushed me to go and research a lot about all this that is involved.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also, I think most of the time we've always had parents on the show. So that's something I'd want you to talk about. Are you a parent? How many children? And how's it been?
I'm a parent to an amazing 12-year-old boy. His name is Shabel. Lovely, lovely boy. I'm a single mother to that lovely, lovely child. Yes.
How old?
12 years old.
Okay.
Yes.
So you have a lot to say about being a single mom.
Trust me.
Are you still one?
I am. I don't know if the title really changes, but I believe unless it is official, I still stand to be one. Yeah.
Okay. And how has the journey been like for you?
I don't know where to start because, man, it's been, there are hills, I don't know, it's just been rough, smooth, happy days, sad days, because you learn a lot. I got a child when I was very young.
Yeah.
You know, like the way they say you start these things, the first day you start this thing, you don't even know what this is all about. But the first day you indulge and then 6 weeks later you find out I'm pregnant. And someone is asking you, are you sexually active? You're like, no. What do you mean sexually active? Like, I mean, it wasn't even 1 minute. Sadly, what do you mean I'm pregnant? Like how? Was it a virgin conception or what? So it is a child getting a child just because you do not have enough information about sex and how to deal with it and generally what just sex is to a human being. So after getting the child, then you realize once you get a child, you're no longer a child.
Yeah.
You have to grow up. And it's been a journey full of thorns. But there are softer days. There are softer days. There are days that moisturize your life properly. And you look back and you say, I think if I hadn't gotten my son, maybe I wouldn't have turned out to be who I am today.
Very true.
Yes.
I keep saying that as well.
Yes.
Like the reason as to why I'm here is probably because I had those children.
Trust me, it shapes you in ways. Man, the days you sit down and you're just like,
Yeah.
But looking back, I really honestly don't think if I hadn't had that boy, maybe my life would have been totally different. Maybe I would have, most probably, considering the way I was headed, I would have become a lost child. Yeah, because my focus would have been very, very different.
Okay.
Yes.
And would you say things are different now compared to when you started off as a single mom?
Yeah, I would say things are very different. Trust me, one thing that I will say is, honestly, my boundaries have been very blessed and opened. And sometimes I look back and I'm saying, even the days that I didn't have my son with me, and now that I have him, I think my ways just open. Like, things have become easier, honestly. Yeah. These are the days that I can say 1 + 1 is 2, and it actually ends up to be 2. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we'll just dive into the topic.
Sure thing.
Sex and relationship. So I think with me, we'll look at it from either angles. So relationship with your partners, like if you've had many partners, I know like you'd definitely have to kiss some frogs before you get to probably to the one, and probably the one we have right now is not even the one. But I'd want us to look at the outer relationship with your family, your friends, your siblings. Has it changed in any way?
So since from getting the child till now, of course you're still a child and you're thinking, now you people should look at me as a parent. But I mean, you're just a parent. But to everyone else, you're still a child. So you're thinking, but I'm a parent. Why are you guys treating me as if I'm a child? You're still a child. And one thing personally I came to notice is I never stopped being a child to my parents, because yes, number one, why did you get pregnant? That's a mistake, number one.
Yeah.
So normally what happens is you're thinking, okay, so now that the child is here, are you guys going to let this go? No, they don't let it go. So you're in this constant fight whereby people look at what you did. No one talks about your future. It's just like you failed. And most of the time, now that everyone is looking at you like you failed, so I am going to look for people who will love me.
Yeah.
Where does that lead me? It leads me to now looking for other people. Most of the time, I don't know, personally, I wouldn't even go looking for women to tell me I am worth it or what. You're thinking, if my dad didn't like me, or if my dad scolded me this much, then I'm just looking for a man to tell me I am okay and I love you, and you just want validation, and you want validation most of the time from the wrong people. It's just that by then you do not really know that these are the wrong people, and by then you also just don't know what you want. You know, like the way they say women are moved by what they hear. So if man number one tells me, don't worry, you'll be fine, and man number 2 tells me, don't worry, I will take care of you, and man number 3, I'm just like, that's all I needed to hear.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that relationship, I would say personally, whatever happened to me after I got a child really affected how some part of my life ended up, because I was looking for a lot of validation. I needed to be told I'm okay. I needed to be told that, you're beautiful and what you did is okay. But looking back, the parents, the family, they're just human. They're just reacting to something they felt was wrong.
True.
And these other people, most of them, I would say, were just taking advantage. Yeah.
I think also when you're looking at the the relationship, especially with the family, there's always that bit of, yes, you failed. There's some who probably went through the same, that would be there to support you.
Yeah.
And then there are some who just choose to throw the stone at you. And I always say, it just depends how you move on from there.
Yeah.
Because if you're talking to a new single mom right now, the thing is, I'd always tell them, just try and move away from all that feedback you're getting, whether it's positive, whether it's negative, because by the end of the day, it's how you as a person, you've decided to live from there on forth. Because I think from the discussion we've always had with you, you got pregnant when you're very, very young. Very young, you didn't know sex. I think I knew sex. And I knew if you actually have sex, you would get pregnant. As in high chances of you getting pregnant.
And you still did it.
Right? And coming from different single moms, we're both single moms, I think for you, the person who's going through what you went through right now, it's just push forward, regardless of what everyone is saying. And I think I'd say the same for someone who is like me, who knew well when you get pregnant. And probably you knew this was that man for you, but probably things didn't pan out the way you thought they would. But if you actually move forward and focus on raising that child, good for you.
It gets better.
Yes, because I think it's just the mindset.
Yeah,
and we always talk about it here as well, with Caro and also with Chim. And this is something we always try to insist or to make sure people understand, like, it's not the end of the world for you. Just move forward. And now I want to see, or I want to hear from you how now with your partners, has it been different? And also maybe we can hear a story from your side.
Definitely. So after getting the child, of course, I would give credit to also my family, because I mean, they really supported their child, but I felt like I was not getting the support. You see, like, the child is there. They're not going to deny this child. They will not do anything. They will take care of the child. But there's that eye that everyone looks at you with, like, you're a failure. You're a failure. So you're just there thinking. So after you start getting validation, you're looking for that validation from other people outside there. And that's when you get into these relationships. And in that time, honestly, I wasn't even looking for a relationship. I don't know what I was looking for. I was just looking for people to make me feel safe. You know, you're this young, bubbly, beautiful girl. And then now you've given birth and you're thinking, oh my God, what is my life turning into? So you're just looking for people to tell you, will they still say I'm beautiful?
Yeah.
Will they still hit on me? And I mean, they will. They will.
Sure.
So, I mean, you're getting it from one. But remember, maybe back home, maybe there's your dad, there's your two brothers, there's your uncle, there's your dad's friend who said you're a bad person. So how many people am I looking for validation from?
Exactly.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I want to hear different people's opinions about what they really think about me. And of course, you kiss many, many frogs. Today, you're with this person, and after some time, you're just thinking, of course, this is not what I want. Next day, you go out, you're thinking, let me try with this one and see. And you see this trying, people are not patient enough with you also. Because as a single mom now, I'm thinking, I need to be accepted. I need to be accepted. Every man hitting on you, you're thinking, oh my God, this is a husband. Because now I feel like I need to prove to my parents that now whatever happened did not just happen. I mean, this is just one man who did something wrong. But for the rest of the men, they actually want me, Yeah. And in that era, we never had these discussions of it's simple, clear, this is what I want. Yeah, you're thinking every man you're meeting, they're out with you because they want they want a relationship with you. And then you come to notice that the world is so different and people are so different. Maybe that's not what people are looking for. At first, I was very scared of being with any man because, I mean, with the father of my child, he's not Kenyan. So by the time I gave birth and all, he was not in the country. He had left the country. And I really tried reaching out, man, because now I was protecting him. I was protecting him. Like, it's a very complicated story. I will just say that I'll give the top layer. Mi usema nilikula kondoo. Yeah, so it was a very complicated story because he was in a congregation. He wanted to be a priest. And then, don't even laugh at me.
And you likula
kondo. But you see, I mean, I did not tie a rope on his neck and pull him. You see, I didn't know anything. I didn't know a lot of things. So I think close to 1 year later, when these things were happening, I was just like, oh, wow, kumbe, this is how it feels. And then I didn't concentrate after that. So I tried reaching out. And I remember the time he came back to Kenya and he moved back to Kenya. And I was there telling him, now we need to move on with our life. Because I was protecting him. I was protecting him because I felt like, oh my God. And I did not want anyone to know that he was the father. So I came up with a story. I was like, me, the father of my child was a Nairobi University student who I just met for one night. Because now, how do I explain to my parents that this is the person I had a child with? I knew my parents were going to kill me. Yeah, I found a story and they even guessed a name. But who is my dad? My dad was online looking for that name. Can you imagine your parent approaching a stranger online and telling him, you're the one who made my daughter pregnant? Mtoto wa Simba. Anyway. Okay. Yes. So as a child, what am I thinking at that time? Like I'm ready to present any man to my father so that this story can end once and for all. Because I'm just like, Sasa, how will my parents ever look at me? And I remember one time when my baby daddy moved back to Kenya and I was like, this is my opportunity. And I went and I told that man, I think it is now time for us to move on with our lives. Like now we can continue where we left. See, I protected you. And see, now you have left. Now you are no longer in that, you are no longer in
the congregation.
Left, and he didn't leave for me. No, that's the worst thing. This man. Aki, he didn't leave for me.
Did he know you had a child?
Yes, he did.
His child. Okay.
Yeah. And I was just there being a good girl and telling him, no, we should continue that life because you've already left. So why don't we just now go on? And he told me, no, I have a girlfriend. And I told him it's okay. Because what was I going to do? I was just very young and naive. And to me, it was not a big deal. Because, see, you have a girlfriend. Why should I spoil your relationship? Aki, it's okay. It's okay. I understand.
We need to find him.
I was such an understanding girlfriend, by the way. That's why these days I'm not understanding.
Yes.
I have suffered for everyone else.
Yeah.
So I allowed him to have his girlfriend. Yeah.
And the child?
And my parents and my family. Oh my God, it's so complicated because he has 2 other children with 2 different people.
Ulikula kondoo.
Aki, nakwambia na ni Mungu alinipunish.
Alafu Mungu akafanya kuna kondoo wengi. Aki, sorry, I don't even know what I just said. But I like what you said. You used to be very... I don't want to use my own words. But you used to be very nice.
Yeah.
And you take the fall for someone else.
Yeah.
But right now, that's something you're not willing to do.
Trust me, it has changed. Everyone who comes to me, I look at them with like the way they say a cat has 9 lives, may have 9 eyes. I'm looking at you like, there's what if. Like, anything you tell me or anything you do, trust me, it is going through CID and NIS what in my head. Because I'm just thinking, you should be thoroughly investigated.
Has that changed your dating life? Because I'd really love to know your dating life after having your child.
Yes, my dating life, immediately after having my child, I wouldn't say I knew what dating was. You know that thing, no one has ever asked you to be their girlfriend, but because we hung that out twice and, we are doing things together and there was that assumption that we are together.
Yeah.
But looking at it right now, how many relationships have I been in? I think 1 or 2. Honestly, because now there has been an official thing where someone asks you, would you be my girlfriend? I want to have a relationship with you and what and all those nitty gritties. So I would say there are moments whereby as a woman, as a human being, I have had needs and I'm just like, okay, I should look for a constant person who we should do these things together. We do these things together. And then you notice that feelings start and you're like, oh my God, where are there feelings between us and what? So in that situation, I am assuming that we're in a relationship, but it is nothing official.
Yeah.
And this has affected me so much as a single parent because at the end of it all, when I started, I said, I've always been looking for a partner to end the story that I am a single parent, So when the feeling starts developing, I am like, oh my God, then we should just do this. But I'm not asking the other person, do you want this? You see?
Yeah.
So I have always been in a situation whereby I feel like when I get someone, I should treat them so nice. You know, like the way they say, wife material mita tisa. I always strived to be wife material. You just want the story to end. You just want someone to look at you and feel like you're worthy to be, you know. But it's not worth it. It is not. Why do you want to answer people's questions that at the end of it all, how are they affecting you? Yeah. True. So it has really affected my relationships because I was constantly looking for someone to fill in the gap. Constantly looking for someone that will help me answer the question to my parents, like, your daughter is worthy to be a wife. You know, it's like, she can be a wife. Yeah, and it is so unconscious. But now when your mother starts asking you, na bado hujapata mtu, you're just like, hey, madam. But what do you do?
Yeah.
What do you do? Because, I mean, I will not get pregnant again and go home. Society has already put it out there that if I start giving birth and I'm not taking a man home, then what type of woman am I?
Yeah, true.
So I am also very careful in relationships because I'm thinking, is this someone who, if anything happens, they will stand by me this time around? They will be like, turn the home. Let me go talk to your parents. So it's not been easy. It's not been easy because...
And said it's going to be easy.
It's not going to be easy, and it's never been easy. Sometimes in your heart of heart, you sit down and you ask yourself, oh my God, where is my life headed? And most of the time, personally, even if everything else is going on right, you just find that this one thing called relationship is not going right, and you're just thinking, my life is not okay.
Yeah.
You're not seeing all the other things that are perfect in your life. You're just like, hey, kwani mimi nilikosea nani? And also, as a single parent, I find that when there's someone in my life, honestly, and it's serious, I am more productive because I'm thinking I'm doing this. That is previously. Currently, a lot has just, since I turned 30, my God, I just noticed there's nothing serious
about relationships.
Oh, live a day at a time. Live a day at a time. But before that, Amy, I was looking for a partner. I meet you day one, day two, you're nice to me. I'm just like, my mother's son-in-law is finally here. I want this story to end. If you ask me, am I doing it for me? No. I'm doing it for my parents so that they can stop asking me about relationships. That I didn't know, but I know now.
I think I can relate much to that after my first son. And I remember every other man I did, because I think I stayed with my son for close to 2.5 years. I wasn't having any relationship. I was hoping the dad would decide, as in, let's go home, right? Not that we've never been to their homes, but officially, let's go and now do the dowry and all that. I waited, Mama. I waited.
It's not coming.
It's not coming. So eventually I decided, you know what? Sana, let's go back to the street.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, that street is hot. Because I remember there's a guy I was dating. And I was so good to the guy. Like, given an option, I knew, by the way, this is the guy for me. Then later on, you come to realize you'll do everything. You'll do everything as the girlfriend, as the wife.
9 yards.
You would, as in go the extra mile. He'd come and pick you from home and drop you home, have conversation like a couple. And you'd even, like, when it gets to the intimate, you have sex like the wife, clean up. And let me tell you, at some point, I realized all this is not going anywhere. And there's something the guy did, and I even asked him, are you really ready to settle down? And he said, I'll get you feedback.
But you see, in such an instant, did you at any point ever have this discussion with him and ask him?
No.
Exactly.
Because the thing is, you always assume, just because the other guy knows you have a child, you're ready to settle down. And it's not like you're irresponsible. I think the irresponsible is just me dating you with a small baby there. That was the only bit. But other than that, I was just like any other girl out there who didn't have a child and was dating. But it gets to that point, you keep on questioning yourself. And I like what you said as well. Everything is going on well apart from the relationship, but you feel nothing is working for
Nothing is
you.
working.
Like, Aki, huyu Mungu, as in, where are you? But probably you got a new job, you got an incremental pay, you moved to a new home, as in to accommodate you and your child. I didn't see all that. And the only thing I saw was, imagine you've just become a failure. And let me tell you, it hits well when you go home and your sister comes with a hubby, your cousins come with their boyfriends or their husbands, and you're the only one.
And the kids where you're staying and they're calling daddy, daddy, and yours is just there thinking.
Exactly.
And where is mine?
Yeah.
And where is mine? It really hurts. It really hurts. You're thinking, should I just go on the road and pull any man into my father's compound so that my son can have someone to call daddy, daddy?
Yeah.
Because I believe with my son, I feel like he was forced to grow up because he grew up with adults only. So that experience of having children around him, he's come to have it later in life. And I mean, my son grew up with my parents when I was still younger, because you're telling a 19-year-old to take care of her.
Yeah.
It was very difficult. So what happened is I feel like he grew up faster. He was forced to grow up and have adult conversation. Like he would be doing something and he'll be asking you, why are you doing that? Or we would be talking on phone and he's like, why are you not at home by now?
True.
You see, so he picks those conversations. Even by the time he was asking me about his father, I just felt like, okay, who have you been talking to? And all that. Anyway, I digress. So in this thing about relationships, apart from me wanting to find a father to fill in the gap, I also noticed that I was very careful. And why I was really, it was not just careful, I was scared. Because if I messed up with someone else, it meant I would have to introduce my son to
the other person.
So I would get into a relationship and I would tell you from the start, I have a child, but end of conversation. Let's never talk about my child again.
Yeah.
You know, let's never talk about my child again because what's your interest? What's your interest? So when I say let's not talk about my child, I am thinking, let this not be a situation whereby you look at me and you're thinking, hey, you already have a child, I can't marry you. And I mean, I've had so many people saying, when you're a mother and you have a son, you'll never get a partner because what if the father comes back?
True.
So that is another thing that really has been a major thing when getting into relationships with people. Because I mean, I've been in relationships or situationships with men who, the moment they find out I have a child, they'll ask you, is it a boy or a girl? You say a boy. It's like, hey, that's complicated. So, I mean, by the time this person is telling me that, I am 100% sure we are not going anywhere. So, sexually, the relationships have been, you know, some have been too casual. Man, looking back,
You have a lot to say.
I hope we're all going to heaven. That's what I will say.
Someone told me the other day, we always talk about being nice and all, saying, oh, these are the things God doesn't like, and so on. And then she also said, so how would you know if, yes, there's that bit of you read the Bible and they say no, as in the commandments, as in about adultery.
Yes.
But how would you know unless you get there? Because to be very honest, right now, there's someone who's very old and they're still a virgin, not married, right? And then there's one who actually started having sex, probably 16, 18, and they're very well settled. But later on in life, things have actually changed.
Yeah.
You understand yourself, you understand the God that you worship very well, and you've actually aligned to it. And we also say our God is a God of forgiveness as well. I'm not saying do it intentionally, but as in over time, I just came to I think I started having sex when I was in uni. in uni, to be very honest. And I know it was a bit late, but I think for me it was just the best time. And I love sex. But I love sex with someone that I actually know and understand. But unfortunately, after I think my first child, when I was dating, anyone who would validate me, I'd feel that's the
You're ready to
person
give
for
him.
me. And
Yes.
the casualness comes in. Because the thing
Very
is,
true.
you're in this, you're settled and all that. But I can say I had like a very short-term relationship with people and had sex. But at some point, I think I had an FWB. Because the thing is, when you're young, you're sexually active. And there's that need of your sexual needs arose.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know when they come. And you just find yourself calling people. You're like, yo, please, you need to turn up. And at times, even the dudes would call you. And you're like, okay, why would I say no?
No.
With time, I think things change. I don't know how it's worked for you, because I know the casualness comes with an FWB. It might come with a friend who's just hanging around you, and then one time you decide, and then you continue like nothing happened.
I totally relate with what you're saying, because I think that's been the situation. And I notice also that it's after some time, it's not new people. It's once I am done with this one, I look for an ex. I look for an ex. I look for an ex. Because to me, this thing of explaining and being asked what's your favorite color to every new person, after the casualness and everything, I just got to a point where, you know what, I am not doing that. I am not doing that. So that familiarity, I just want to be with people who I already know. I already know. And then after some time, I noticed that our virtues don't align. And that's how I started keeping people, like pulling people away from me. But the casualness that was there before all this, my God. Someone just calls you and you meet someone on day 1, day 2, next week, you people are a couple. And it doesn't even last. True. It does not even last. And in all this, after my 30s, after turning 30s, I noticed that I was looking for answers in the wrong people. Because every time I did all these things, I felt more empty after. You know, like if you ask me now, what were you doing with that guy? What were you doing with that guy? Nothing. Nothing.
You're just passing time.
There was a lot of... I wouldn't call those relationships.
And to be very honest, half of them weren't even so good. Like,
not half of... How many can you remember?
At times it was more of, okay,
it's
let me just
let me just do it.
But it's not like
most of them made you remember.
But probably because you just didn't want to move from one man to the other.
Yes.
But as in half of them weren't good, to be very honest. And I think it took me quite some time to also understand my body. As I said, I started off very late. But once I got to understand my body, like I know the type of man that I'd want. And it was it's not even from what you say. By the way, you can just keep quiet the entire time. Just do your thing. And also how you do it matters more. Like there are guys you'd get, probably I would want to satisfy you and not really get satisfied myself. But I'd also, as a woman, I'd want to satisfy you. But the ones I love the most, as much as we are both satisfying each other, you're very keen with my needs, my sexual needs. Because then again, most likely the next time I'd even say, let's do it again, probably after quite some time.
And you're very lucky because now you see, for you even knew, like, these are my sexual needs. I would say I came to understand how I want to feel as a woman later, way later. Because the definition of sex was, you get there, I get there, we are done. You get there, I get there, we are done. And then, how are your friends describing sex? How are your friends? You know, like when you're seated down and everyone... So whatever your friends say, next time you're going to try.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to try. And you're going to tell your man, there's helicopter style. Why haven't you turned to me like this? You know. So it it was more of experiments than actually just finding one person who will get you there and will identify. You will know what your body wants and what takes you there. So in those years, as much as there was all this confusion and casualness, it wasn't really about satisfaction. It was about trying things that people are talking about. To me, it was. But later on in my years, you meet one person and it's different.
Yeah.
It is so different. And you're wondering, hey, Kwani, those other times, what was I doing? What was that? So, as I said, after after getting my child to my late 20s, I was still a very casual person. Like I wouldn't say those were relationships. Yeah, I wouldn't say those were relationships. But now when I got just late 20s, when I got into a real relationship, then I kind of understood the dynamics of a relationships as a single mother. It comes with a lot. Because now it moves from you and that person just talking about you and that person to what do you want? What do you want? And it's such a difficult question to ask. I remember there's this person that I met and I don't know if he was taking advantage because you see these conversations you have and then this guy starts asking you these things that you remember later when you kosana. But I'm the one who actually told him I would love to be asked to be a girlfriend. And this guy actually did that. He asked me to be his girlfriend. I was like, oh my God. He actually asked me. And then when you Kosana, you notice you're the one who actually, when you're having a random conversation, you say, you only get into relationships after you've been asked. And it was bliss and bliss. It was a good relationship, but there were so many.
I wonder where the guy is right now. Okay, so when it comes to your sexual partner, or rather your partner, because you're definitely going to get in it sexually, what would you be looking at? What's that type of mood to get you into that sexual phase?
I would say this. Number one, to me, sex is no longer casual. Like, we really have to connect on a very deeper level before I have sex with you. Like, you'd have to be my friend. Like, I would have to look at you and get turned on immediately. You know, like, every time I see you, I'm just like, you know? Like, to me, I love sex. It's such a good thing. And it's, man, sex is beautiful. So I would really have to, I can't have it with any random person. That's what I mean. I just, it's not a random thing to me. I would talk to you and I would be very intrigued if you can turn my mind on before my body. So that is one thing that always made me go back to. Because now you're thinking, all these casual people, and I'm not getting what I want. Like, it is just too complicated. So I'm really looking for someone who understands my body, understands my language, understands my word. So to me, you really have to, for you to get me there, into that phase, you really have to know a lot of things about me. Because definitely I have two faces. There's the Hilda that everyone knows, and then there's the relationship Hilda. Oh my God. Sometimes I used to say that he's a pathetic Hilda because, number one, knowing how or seeing how our parents were relating, you just know, you not even submission, you have to keep your head down. Whatever you say is yes, yes, yes. But later on in life, I noticed it's not yes, yes, yes. We need to have a conversation. So for you to get me there, you really have to, we really need to talk. Like, we really need to talk. And it is not a matter of, being that it is something that I also love, it is not a matter of you initiating it 24 hours.
Yeah.
You might find that you have initiated 13 hours, I have initiated the rest 11, or I initiated 18 hours, you initiated 6 hours. So to me, it is very, it starts from here. Once you know how to crack this head, man, you have your way.
So is it quality or quantity for you?
Quality, man, quality. And I think for some of us, we are so lucky because we get both.
Very true. And I totally understand what you're saying.
Yes, we get bored.
So I think I'd want you to take a glass of water because now we go deeper.
Really?
Yes,
What do you want to ask me?
everything. Okay, Hilda. I want us to move a couple of years, let's say between now and last year and the previous year, because I know you've grown over time.
Yeah.
And I'd also want to now touch on my life after the twins, because that's when you get to know yourself, you get to understand your body, and you get to understand yourself as a woman. And hey, I know we're just done with Happy International Women's Day, but I'd love to wish you the same, because you've been an amazing woman in my life.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I think we'll wrap up telling you what it's all about.
Okay.
So I'd want us to discuss about the relationship we have with sex.
Okay.
At my age, I know we're not of the same age, but I want to understand the relationship right now that you have with sex. Now we're moving away from the casual bit.
Currently, my relationship with sex, I would say once I hit 30, I noticed something. You know, right now you want sex with one person. I noticed that a lot. Like, you want it with one person, and you notice that it is not just about your body.
Yeah.
The sex starts from the head to every other single thing, to the preparation. Those are the times you didn't need to prepare. As long as umetoka dunda, you finish with what? It was like the dessert of everything.
Exactly.
Right now, it takes a lot of preparation, psychological preparation, and what. And I would say right now, I understand intimacy. It is not sex. It is no longer sex. It is just intimacy. I want to be intimate with this one person who takes me down on my bad days, like holds me down on my bad days. Like, when I think about sex, I think of one person. Every other person is my brother, you know. Like, when I look at other men, I don't feel like, ooh, dang, no. It's just that one person. No matter how mad they make me, I still look at them and think, ni wewe tu, hakuna mtu mwingine, you know. So in these later years, my relationship with sex has really changed. It's not about how many, it's about quality. It's about, on those rough days, those days that we cry and then we just end up having it and we sleep and we feel better. Yeah. So I've seen a lot of growth and understanding. I have found my personal understanding of what sex really is. Yes.
There's one thing. Finding someone sexy, yes, it has to be very intellectual in terms of what are the conversations that we have. How would you know when I need something? Like, I actually don't have to tell you. And how would you find the right words to say when you really know those are the words I'd probably want? It's more of it's a day, I'm exhausted, probably. Is there something that I always do that you think you can take it up? When it comes now to the practice itself, I think with time it's been, I'm an evening person. Please, let's not do it in the morning, because I guess. No, exactly. You have so much time at night compared to morning, because the thing is, if I'm going to work and you're not going to work, I actually go to work thinking, that did I really have to?
I have to.
And if it makes me feel that way, then we need to align ourselves. Meet me halfway, like in the evening. And I can say probably in the evening I'd give you more time.
Yeah.
So that's when it comes to the practice. And also there's one thing, I think after my first son, I wasn't very comfortable with my body. And I think once you give birth, you're not the same person. So you have calves and you have fat, and probably in all the wrong places right places.
I call it the woman body.
And I remember someone told me, you need to embrace yourself, as in embrace your body as it is right now. The things, yes, you probably feel you will need to work on. Do you need to exercise? Do you need to cut on whatever foods, as in just to trim? Because I think with me, there are times I'd actually grow fat in a month. and probably I'll slim down later on, because stress actually makes me fat. When I'm too overwhelmed, it means I'm not eating the right time. I don't have time to even work out. I don't have time to take a walk. So all that gives you a chubby Sheila. So there's a time the kids were away, and I decided that weekend I'd walk naked in the house, and that's something I've loved doing every time they're away. I'd just lock the door, and I'd probably hang out in the living room with probably a t-shirt and a panty. Or I'd do a dera. But what made me get to where I was I'd probably do a vest and a panty. And I'd walk around the house the entire day. So with that, it made me very comfortable. Even when I had someone around, I wouldn't shy away from that person. Two, I wouldn't cover a lot. Because then again, covering, what are you hiding really? So those are the things with time, I got to embrace about my body in terms of what I want. And when it comes to now the sexual act itself, like I tell you, I don't think you're doing it well. But then again, lucky for me, I've had so many people who are very experienced in that. But when I get someone who's not very experienced, like I'd say it, but then I'd ask myself, am I doing it for myself, or am I showing you for you to do someone? That energy is not here. So I'd probably hang out with you, and I won't cut off the relationship, but I know, as in probably, you did your best. But it's not a reason for me to penalize you for probably you didn't know how to do something. I told you how I wanted you to do for me. But then again, it's going to be very different if that same person would move to Hilda. So you need, as a man, you need to figure it out on your own. And also with time, I got to, and I remember I met this guy, and he, like as a joke, he just told me, when I'm away, you need to learn how to please yourself.
Wow.
Yes. As in, learn how to please yourself, because even as a woman, it doesn't look good when you're sleeping around with so many men. And also, it gets to a particular age, it just doesn't make sense. Because what exactly are you looking for out there? It's not like they're different, but if you're able to find ways of keeping your mind busy, if not, learn how to please yourself. If not, that's when you get to the toys.
Actually, now, just learning how to please yourself, I would say it actually makes you know a lot about your body.
Yes.
You know where you want to be touched. You know where you want pressure put on. You know all your body parts that just make you feel like it. So you don't want to do these things, or you don't want to discuss them. But later on, you're talking to women. I talk to women every day. 90% of my day is spent with women. And imagine, you will notice that as a woman, you're not going to know a lot about your body if you don't please yourself. So many people want to try it. Some have never tried it.
I did.
It is surprising. Man, it is very surprising. I used to think everyone does it. And you even meet people in their late 30s and their 40s, and they're like, how does it feel to do it?
late 30s.
How does it
And you see,
feel?
it starts with someone tells you, you don't.
Exactly.
I'm like, okay, maybe I should. And the moment you started, I felt so guilty about it. I was like, will I get to a point where
you become an addict?
Probably, I'll probably not need a man. And I think that those are the reason why, as of now, I haven't owned even one toy.
Oh, I have owned. I was in a relationship for 5 years, and it was a long distance relationship. So
That's what.
Dude lived away, very far away. He used to come like 3 times in a year. And there's a time we're just having discussions, and we said, why not? So when he came to see me, he brought me a lot. And, we went through the whole process of trying these things. And now, honestly, after trying to use those things, I was like, no, why are you here? Like, why are you here? Because you see, these things are artificial. The amount of tremor it gives you is not the amount of tremor this human being is giving
naturally.
you. And then it lasts for like 2 minutes or 1 minute, and it is over. So you find yourself doing it 20 times.
Yeah.
And it is just too
But
much.
they're very addictive as
They
well.
are very, very addictive. Like, very addictive. So my phase of life where I was using those things, I don't know. It's good if you can use it with your partners and you guys are comfortable.
I think it would
use
be
them.
nice to use with a partner.
But personally, I would say, to me, the amount of tremors they give me, I don't want to use it with someone. Just let me be. Like,
I'd actually consider using it with a partner.
it's too electric. Like, after that, I don't want a human being.
Well, as in, a man cannot get you there every day. Let's agree. A man cannot get you there every day. A man gets you there every day. And it's the same thing as saying not one man will give you everything you want as a woman.
I totally.
But if you're able to introduce the toys into your room, the better. Because then again, really, if you can get help, why not?
Some people are so jealous. They can't allow those toys.
No, I'm just saying for the men who, I think a real man would know, I cannot give you everything you want sexually. So I'd introduce a partner in the room, just that this partner is a toy.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'll tell you, probably consider bringing someone else into the room, right? Which most men will not align to that.
Exactly.
But throughout, I have learned to work on myself to a point when a man does not do it correctly. I'm like, okay, stop it.
You said something. You said something that I feel we never talk about. Like, how many of us are even willing to tell our partners, don't do this, do this, don't do this. You see, like the way they say sometimes someone is licking your ear and putting all the saliva in your ear and you just like, you just there quiet, you're like, oh my God, what is he doing? Those were the younger days where you couldn't.
Yeah.
But right now, as a grown woman, I would say, don't do that.
Yeah.
And
I
you don't like it. And you can even give instructions of, I love it when you do it like this. I love it when you do it like this. Don't do this, not now. And I mean, I call it grown woman life.
Exactly.
Like, and when you have a partner who's understanding, then it becomes very easy for you guys to just live this sexual life. It becomes very, very easy. To me, I would say it is when I have a compatible person with me, it is...
And that's very important.
Yeah, it is, like the way those eyes, that someone just looks at you and it's time. It is time. It is anywhere. It is what? It is time. You'd be seated somewhere and you just know, this person, this is what they're trying to communicate.
Have you ever had sex with someone until your legs tremble? Like... You leave the house and wherever you're going, your kitty is palpitating.
Yes.
And those are the moments you realize, okay, this guy is good in bed. Until it hits you that probably this guy is not good at everything.
Trust me, and then when the moment you notice that, you will notice that you will not find that perfect man. If it is sex that you're looking for, concentrate on the sex and the things that you can change, and life moves on. Because you find this one person, and I don't know if it has been the same for you, but hey, this age that I am in right now, they say the urges in your 30s. They go higher. Honestly, I would say you find that one person who just ticks everything. Of course, they're like, say 60% perfect. The rest of the things are things that you hate, things that you cannot stand. But the amount of trembling this person takes you through, you're just like, I will deal with the 40, it's okay.
And that's why at times I tell people, some women actually don't move from certain relationship because... probably the sex was good, right?
We have the answers.
But I wouldn't shy away from saying, if I ever settle down with a man, the sex has to be good.
Yeah, same.
As in, I'm not taking, like, you have your entire life to figure it out.
Why are you leaving your parents' house to go have mediocre sex with people?
Exactly. And I always say, where I am right now in life, there are things that I can do on my own. So, as much as men keep on asking what women are bringing to the table, I'll also ask the men, what exactly are you bringing to the table?
Yeah.
Because I've already set up the table. What are you bringing?
Yeah.
Because it's not about, if it's about the fund, we can meet halfway. You actually don't have, like, you need to be at a certain level. One, you have to be slightly higher than me in almost everything. When it comes to the money, you still need to have more than
You
me.
still need to have more.
But when it comes to sex, we cannot take mediocre.
No, we can't.
No.
Especially,
We're not going back there.
like I meet people who tell me, I don't like that thing and what and what. Is it that you don't like it, or is it that you have not met someone who has made you like it? Society. I meet women every day who are so constrained on beliefs that I am just like, no, this man, you should punish him and do this. Why are you? If he tells you he can't do this for you, he's not the only one enjoying it. Unless you don't tell your man, this is what I want and this is how I feel when you do this. Sex is not something to deny. And this is my grown woman era speaking.
Yeah.
It is not something to deny and say, no, you're acting moody all week. I can't. You can't. What's wrong with you?
Like, you've decided you're already dating this guy.
Exactly.
Why would you not? What would you?
You're sleeping in the same bed with this person the whole week and you're not getting
You will
turned
give
on.
it to him when you're mad.
Please. Let me tell you something very funny. This is a rule that we have. This thing's as ijakosana, as we say. It is I will give it to you, and tomorrow morning I will continue getting mad. But if you have needs and I have needs, let's not confuse the two. Let's fulfill each other's desires, and then tunaweza endelea kukasirika in the morning.
Yeah. And
but
also,
now,
when you're looking at denying someone else sex, it's not like you're denying him.
You're denying
You're
yourself.
also denying yourself.
Yeah. And you see, now when you do such things, that's when maybe your partner is like, I can't live this life.
Yeah.
They now start going outside and then you're there. The issues just continue piling up. But honestly, in this era that I am in, it is not something that, I know so many people would disagree with this, but to me, it is not something that I would fight. It is not something that I would say, no, I don't want to have this, or I would use this so that I can get this. Sex is not something I use to get things that I want. It is something that I use to fulfill what my body wants. And I feel good after. So that's why I'm saying, when you're doing it, honestly, if it is someone who you're compatible with, then you will never use it as a stepping stone to get what you want.
Or as a weapon.
No.
Okay. So, we'd love to hear your comments right below. How sex has been for you, your relationship, have they changed? How have you been selecting your partners as well? Was it casual? Right now, it's more strategized in terms of what you're looking for a man when it comes to your sexual practices. And I thank you for coming. Oh, I was to tell you something. So one thing about Hilda and I, whenever I go for waxing, and which I definitely recommend you go for waxing at Hilda's, we'll share your Instagram links, right? And then you can always book an appointment. But you have conversation as women. We get to talk so much even before my waxing is done. We get to discuss life. We actually pray for each other. Just in case you have a prayer item, we talk about it, and God has been there for us, for both of us. And I really want to thank you for coming to the podcast, and I really want to thank you for being that person for me, because I never thought I'd start waxing. Then I started waxing, and now I'm enjoying waxing. And even when I had, I'd call and say, okay, leo itakuwa uchungu, but we will face it. Right? Is there any parting shot you'd want to probably tell the single moms out there?
I would say to any single mom out there, honestly, don't rush it. Don't rush it. There is no hurry to validate yourself. There is no hurry to prove to yourself that you can have a man. Don't rush it. It actually gets better. Take your time and just raise that child. The right person will come. You still have to kiss all those frogs, but the right person definitely shows up. And don't look for perfection. There's no perfection.
True.
If it is something you can manage, go ahead and do it. Yes.
And honestly, it gets sweeter with time. So
does.
I wish you the best in your sexual life. And I'll see you next on the next episode. Please like, subscribe, and follow us on our Instagram pages. So we go by the name The Crib Shit Podcast. And I would love to see you in the next episode. Thank you very much. Maybe worth mentioning, we are going to be taking a break as we figure out the next season of the podcast. And please stay tuned. Please share and get us the numbers. So when we get back here, we have the numbers that we need to run again. Thank you very much. And wishing you a happy Easter from Hilda and I.
Thank you.
Thanks.